Okay, so it's been 2 seconds. Maybe it's been longer, I don't know. And I had a long talk with my mom this morning about my dad and his situation. And it's so complex, because getting social services isn't straightforward. And it should be. I just make a phone call to the CLSC and say, all the things that are true about his situation, and that then they take that information and figure out what to do quickly and then provide him with the services he needs. But that's not how it works. What actually happens is that you give all that information to the intake social worker on the phone, and then the intake social worker goes back to her team and recommends assigning a social worker to this particular file. And if the team agrees, then they assign a social worker to the file, and then that social worker needs to get all the information, and that social worker then does an evaluation of his needs. So it takes some time and it takes some pushing just to get a social worker. There's also a housing crisis in Montreal, and there's a social services crisis. So, and it's been like in the news lately and stuff. So it's actually a really bad time to be asking for all these services. He needs what he needs, and I will keep pushing. But my mom wanted me to be careful not to kind of romanticize him and want to quote unquote save him, even though I don't think I'm doing that. It's just that she sees how much work it is and how many phone calls there are to do. And, I'm just at the beginning of it. But I have no romantic notions in my mind that he can be my father in a fatherly way and like a mature adult relationship that has give and take. Like, I understand that he still has his ways, and has his very ingrained difficulties. Like, he's a difficult person. Even though I enjoyed spending time with him and having conversation with him, there's no way that I would ever even suggest to my partner to bring him here. It'll only get from moderately crazy to completely nuts. The more comfortable he gets, the more he's going to show himself, right? But he has a lifetime of habits, of ways of being that are incompatible with my life, incompatible with my peace and my children's peace. And, yes, he's my father, and there are good points to every person, right? And for those reasons, I want to make sure he doesn't die on the streets, and then that's good enough. But I'm not looking for a relationship where I can go to him for advice and, share my burdens and get support. Like, that's not possible. It's never been possible, and it will not be possible because of who he is. And that's okay. It's okay with me to be giving in this situation without any return, any real hope of a return. It's not going to be a reciprocal relationship. It's going to be a one-way, where all the energy is flowing towards my dad, because, well, that's narcissistically the way it's always been. And it's just that now he has needs that I don't know if we can call them justifiable needs, because he's always had the same needs. It's just that he no longer has the capacity to figure his situation out, whereas he used to have the capacity to do it and just wouldn't. And now he doesn't have the capacity to do it, which is evidenced by the fact that his feet froze last winter. So, like, he clearly cannot make decisions that lead to him not being frozen. Yeah. Okay. So, it's a complex situation. If you're in the same boat and you're estranged from a parent, don't drown in the guilt, because I know about the guilt. I'm swimming in the guilt. But yeah, just because they're your parent doesn't mean you have to open up completely to welcome them back in. Like, I know that the spiritual teacher that I am listening to right now says don't ever really give up on anyone. And for that reason, I'm doing what I consider the minimum to help another human being. Because no one else has the right to do it but me. So I will do it. And not out of obligation, but I really, really do want to help him out of that situation, this one bad crisis situation. He needs to get housed, and it's going to take many phone calls, but the relationship between us, that reciprocity, if it happens, I will be amazed. If it happens, I will be amazed. I won't be fooled. I am very aware that it can look like it's happening, but there's a scheme. There's always a second or third or fourth layer with him, until his mind isn't able to think that way anymore, and then it will be too late for a reciprocal relationship anyhow. Right? That's the tragedy of it. There will be maybe a day or two here and there where we can just be together like a father and daughter. And there may not ever come that time. It may just slip away. It may have slipped away when I was 3, and that was the end, right? So if you're in my situation, and I know some of you listening are, don't worry about me, and don't let any guilt touch you with its slimy little fingers. Not at all. You know who your parent is. You know why you're estranged. They have their karma. We have ours. We navigate as best we can from day to day. Go away, guilt. Okay? All right, I'll talk to you later. Love you all. Bye now.